Welcome back to Two Therapists Walk Into a Podcast. I'm Robin Green.
And I'm Stephanie Edsel.
Before we jump in, we've noticed again and again in our work with men how often these themes show up and how much these conversations are really needed. That's part of why this series feels so important. Here we are, Series 5. We've been really waiting for this one, and it comes directly out of the work we do every day with men who tell us how important these conversations are.
It feels like a turning point. We wanted to create a series that's bold, compassionate, and overdue.
We're calling it The Men We Don't See. Our hope is that this series opens doors for men to feel spoken to without shame, and for women and partners to understand the men in their lives in ways that spark repair and deeper connection.
Men are often overlooked when it comes to emotional depth and healing. If you felt invisible in that way, you're not alone.
That's why we're here, to give language, pause, and validation to the places men usually have to carry in silence.
So today we're starting with the first episode in our series, episode 21, The Capable Heart. Because men aren't disconnected by nature, they are wired for tenderness, care, and connection. And that truth matters for all of us. Before we dive in, let's pause together. If your shoulders are up by your ears, maybe let them drop a little.
And if your jaw's been clenching all day, know that you're in good company. Just notice it. Maybe soften if that feels okay. No gold stars for perfect breathing here.
You might place one hand on your chest and one on your belly, or just let your hands rest wherever they want.
This isn't about doing it right. It's about giving your body a moment to know it's safe. And if it feels awkward, that's okay too. Many of us were never taught to pause like this.
And if you're a man listening, pauses like this may not feel familiar. In fact, they may be uncomfortable. Your nervous system deserves this space too.
Let's take one slow breath together. Inhale and exhale. Okay, let's begin. Today we thought we would start with our nervous system nugget to set the tone for the episode. And so here it is. Men's nervous systems are wired for connection, just like everyone else's.
It's true. Polyvagal theory reminds us that safety and co-regulation are basic human needs. They don't belong to one gender.
Right. But many boys are told to toughen up, hide softness, or be the man of the house. And that trains the nervous system to protect, not connect.
The longing for closeness doesn't disappear. It just waits, like spring under the surface, until conditions feel safe enough to thaw. Think of the boy on the basketball court who never cried after a loss, or the young man at work who jokes instead of admitting he's overwhelmed.
So when you see silence, withdrawal, or stoicism, it doesn't mean absence of feeling. It can mean the boy inside learned that showing his need for connection wasn't safe, so he tucked it away. That's what we mean by the men we don't see. Okay, so let's talk about a tool for this. Because if you've ever been in that moment where you're staring at your partner or friend, like, say something, you know how hard it is.
And if you're the one being stared at, it can feel like every word in your body has just shut down.
Here's the tool: pause and invite depth without pressure.
Let's play with it. If I say, "What's wrong with you? Talk to me." How does that land?
Oof. Slam, door shut. But if you try, "Can I sit with you?" or "I want to hear what's on your mind when you're ready," that opens the softer door.
And here's where the banter helps. Sometimes we'll tease each other about saying the wrong line, just so you can hear how different the nervous system feels when the softer line lands.
Because sometimes the softer door is the only one the nervous system can really walk through.
Picture this. A husband never says, "I love you," but every morning he makes coffee for his wife.
Or a dad who rarely talks about feelings, but shows up to every soccer game, rain or shine.
Those are quiet ways of saying, "I care. I'm here."
Sometimes they're so quiet, they go unnoticed. And when that happens, men can pull back even further.
But imagine his partner saying, "I noticed you made coffee for me." That felt like love.
Or, "I saw you in the stands at the game. That really meant something to me."
That recognition rewires the moment. He's not invisible anymore.
And let's not limit this to partners. Think about a friend saying, "I appreciate you showing up tonight." Or a sister saying, "It matters when you check in." These moments really count too.
Exactly. And often, that's when the thaw starts. The boy inside feels safe enough to step forward. So here's our reflection question for you this week. Where have you seen a man show depth or tenderness in ways you didn't expect?
And what would it be like if you named that out loud? If you let him know you noticed?
Sometimes the smallest recognition can open a door that's been shut for years.
This is just the beginning, and it matters because men's healing matters for them, for their families, for all of us.
Seriously, when men go unseen, everyone carries the cost.
Right? And when men are seen, we all benefit. I wanted to take a minute to say thank you for all who are listening. We have officially surpassed 1,000 downloads, and it has not gone unnoticed or uncelebrated. I wanted to make a special shout out to a listener who shared a comment and rated our podcast 5 stars. They shared the following comment: 3 years into my healing journey, it can sometimes feel like I've graduated already. Alas, this podcast reminds me that I've always got something new to learn.
Thank you, listener, for sharing and being brave. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, we do.
Please join us next time for episode 22, Raised to Disappear. And remember, healing isn't linear, and we're here for the ride. Thanks for sitting with us today. If something resonated, we'd love it if you shared the episode, left a review, or connected with us on social. We're two therapists walk into a podcast on most platforms. You can listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not therapy, does not replace therapy, and does not establish a therapist-client relationship. If you're in crisis, please reach out to a qualified mental health professional or call 988 in the U.S. Robin Green is a licensed therapist in Arizona, and Stephanie Edsall is licensed in Utah, but this podcast is intended for a general audience.